On Mitty, New Jersey, I'm Vijaya welcoming you to the Immigration Hour brought to you by Nachman Fulvani Zimovchek, the NPZ Law Group guiding you in US and Canadian immigration matters. Joining me is David Nachman, founder and managing attorney at NPZ Law. Welcome, David. Namaste.
Namaste, Adab, Sat Sri Akal, and Kemcho to you, Vijaya, and to all our Radio Mirchi listeners.
Thank you, David. And of course, the holidays are almost upon us. And so I want to know, what do we need to know for holiday travel?
Well, actually, Vijaya, most important holiday is behind us, which of course is Diwali. And we're wishing, of course, that everybody, all of our listeners had a bright and sweet and happy Diwali holiday. Oh. But we have more holidays coming up. Mm-hmm. And holiday travel has always been a challenge. It continues to be a challenge. But of course, with the right preparation and the right planning, which are now more critical than ever, we hope that, foreign nationals, who are going just to visit their families or who might be going to the U.S. consulates abroad are able to deal with the evolving immigration policies. Yeah. There's going to be increased volume, of course. And now, even more so, there is, the need for complex documentation that they need to take care of before travel. Yeah. So, there are a couple of travel tips, of course, that the NPZ provides every year. And we want to make sure that our listeners are aware of them. And obviously, the most important one, of course, is make sure that you consult with your immigration counsel in advance, whether that be us or that be your lawyers, for your organizations. Just make sure that, they help you to prepare in advance for potentially enhanced vetting. And for the consular interview, that's a service that our office provides. We spend some time with our clients, of course, coaching them on what they need to know when they go to the consulates and apply for visas. Make sure that you schedule consultations 60 to 90 days in advance because, during the holidays, of course, our immigration lawyers here at NPZ do get very busy. So obviously, getting those coaching sessions in place would be tremendously helpful earlier rather than later. Make sure that you always check the consulate website prior to travel. The U.S. consulate procedures vary widely, and they're also subject to change with little or no notice. So everyone should be checking the consulate website. We do check the consulate website. We do that for our clients, but of course, there are sort of lags in between the communications that we have with our clients, so they should make sure that they check that information. Yeah. Make sure that they complete the DS-160s if they're going to the U.S. consulate offices. And for accuracy, we are having issues with information coming up later in the immigration process based upon information that was contained on the DS-160s, which are the standard applications for non-immigrant visas. Make sure that you review the visa application and petition in advance of going to the U.S. consulate for any stampings. Make sure that you review your online profiles if you are traveling, because at the ports of entry when you come in or at the U.S. consulates abroad, they are reviewing online profiles and they are vetting these online profiles to ensure that there is no anti-American sentiment being put forth in those profiles. Make sure that you update your company information, which means that you should get a letter that, of course, updates, to ensure that you have that you're presently employed with the organization, if that's the case, and make sure that you have updated pay stubs to show. And that, of course, requires you usually to go talk to your HR and to make sure that you have appropriate employment verification. So, and of course, most importantly, if you have any arrests or any detainments or any interactions with the law, please let your lawyer know. It's not helpful to us to find that out after the U.S. government has called you on that. Wow. So please let us know in advance if you've had any interactions with the law or with USCIS, because we are able to try to figure out how to allow you to best address those issues in advance.
Yes.
So we also want to remind you, of course, that there are travel restrictions and travel bans that were put into place earlier this year. You need to be aware of them. They were implemented in June. There were obviously full restrictions for 19. There were restrictions for 19 countries and full suspensions for 12, and 7 are partial suspensions. So, and also now for traveling domestically, we have the Real ID that needs to be, you need to have Real ID in order to travel domestically. So those are some of the issues that we just quickly want to make our, make the listeners aware of. But if you have any questions, if you're planning to travel, most importantly is we again remind all of our listeners that we do not want people, we want to try to avoid non-essential travel in light of the current immigration landscape. But if you absolutely positively have to travel, then of course, consulting with your U.S. Immigration or Canadian Immigration Law Counsel before you travel is a must.
Wow, thank you for that excellent synopsis of the travel situation coming up in the holidays. And of course, again, folks, if you have a doubt, the best counsel and representation in immigration law, that's the NPZ Law Group. They're just a phone call or a click of a mouse away. All you need to do is to visit visaserve.com or simply call them at 201-670-0006 and mention Mirchi to get a special discount off your consult. So don't procrastinate your immigration matters. Seek the NPZ Law Group's help today. We'll be right back with more on the law. Stay with us on Mirchi. It's hot.